Last year, I was walking around our local superstore, Tesco's. My family had gone away on holiday, I was on my own for a week. And it's one of these very rare times in my life where I wasn't in a rush to get anywhere. I had all the time in the world. It was August, it's probably a little bit quieter than it normally is at work. And I'm walking around the supermarket, and it's something I don't particularly do very often, and I was just doing a little bit of shopping. And I observed something as I was doing my shopping. And this is what I observed. I observed a guy who had his phone on his shoulder like this. He was pushing a trolley at the same time he was doing his shopping. And not only that, but he had two of his children behind him, walking behind him. Now, I think this guy was oblivious to what these two young kids were doing, because they're probably doing all the things that I really wanted to do. For example, like put your hands in the pick and mix and start pinching some of the sweets like you do. Now, what I did notice was that this guy was having a business conversation with someone at the end of the phone. And you're probably going to want to know why I knew this. Well, I could overhear him. And for, I don't know how long this conversation was going, but let's just say it was going for 3 or 4 minutes. And what I was observing was this guy was in some sort of negotiation on the telephone. Now, I don't know about you, but I can only really do one thing at once. I know us men, that's what we're sort of put in this world for, just doing one thing at once. But really, look at the scene. You've got a guy who's having a business conversation, probably some sort of important negotiation. He's shopping at the same time, he's in the wrong environment, and he's got two children walking behind him. Something is going to go wrong in that conversation, and maybe he's not going to get the results that he really wants from that telephone call. So what can we take away from that story and the guy in some sort of negotiation walking around Tesco's? Well, it's this. How do you handle new patient inquiries in your dental practice? Do you handle them at the reception desk? Because if you do that, then look what else is happening around the receptionist when she's dealing with that call. You've got patients who are waiting, maybe who are getting impatient. Maybe you've got the other phone going at the same time. Maybe you've got the dentist coming down and asking you to come off the phone quickly, maybe to make an appointment whilst you're doing that. So you've got all this activity going on. And my question to you is this: can you give that potential patient, that potential client at the other end of the phone call, the full attention that you can give, like the guy walking down Tesco's, the superstore? And the answer is no, you can't, because there's just too much going on. So a quick tip and something to leave on as you have been watching this video, and I strongly suggest this, that some of the most successful dental practices that I've worked with now answer the telephone away from the desk, where they can give the potential patients or their patients full 100% attention with nothing else going on. Now, if that's absolutely impossible to do, and you definitely can't do it at this stage, at least do one thing, and that's to answer new inquiries away from the desk. It can be in any room at all within the dental practice. I've been to some practices and they've answered the telephone in the kitchen area. As long as they've got a computer, that's fine. But the one single major advantage is that you can give 100% focus on that phone call, and there's no other distractions. I was in a practice of mine who I was doing an in-house course for. We do a lot of in-house courses where we go in and work with practices. And I was doing a follow-up meeting with the dentist. And I observed the receptionist who now answers the telephone in the back office. And she spent 17 minutes of a patient who was inquiring about that services. And I watched and listened and observed that receptionist take that inquiry right through to an appointment, even to taking a deposit on a credit card to secure that appointment. So one final tip here. If you can, I strongly urge you to take the telephone away from the desk, but at the very least, when you're dealing with new inquiries, answer them away from the desk, and you can then give 100% focus and attention. You can build that rapport, answer the questions. Remember one thing: if your patient's contacting you about some sort of cosmetic treatment where the treatment could go into thousands of pounds, in some cases, that patient is wanting a life-changing conversation with you. You must be in this right environment where you can also have that life-changing conversation back. So, final message: new inquiries, take the phone away from the desk, and then you will see an increase in the number of the right type of patients coming through your door. Remember this phrase, you only get one chance to make a first impression. So what are some of the things you can do to make that impact and make that first impression a positive one? Well, the first thing is